Hi guys, so today I'm going to be talking about self-change versus self-reflection. So, what stimulated this idea about self-change and self-reflection was me personally not being happy with where I'm at goal-wise and like who I want to be. And I started reflecting and I started thinking more about it, which then threw me down this rabbit hole of how do I change it? And how do I stop doing what I don't want to do and start doing what I actually want to do. So, and I saw this in a very negative light. Like, for example, TikTok and doom scrolling. We all know it's bad and we all still do it. And a big reason why is for like the human brain, or naturally, we want to seek the easier path. We want to make life easier for ourselves, thus leading to scrolling on TikTok and getting these hits of dopamine, which is basically our pleasure response, I guess. And when you get a lot of that, you keep seeking that, the easy access to dopamine. So it's a natural tendency to seek that. TikTok itself is not natural, but our tendency to seek it is. And my question was how do we resist something that feels natural or isn't natural? And that kind of led to the self-change aspect of what can I do to change this? So some may say, get rid of TikTok entirely. Now, I agree. I think that's a great response to that whole situation. But there's also other things that were affecting me personally that were how I see bad. And the whole reason why was for these quick dopamine responses. So this made me think, and I realized that, and I wrote this down, what is the point of self-reflection if we cannot act and take the action to make a change? So what is the point of me knowing gonna help with making the change? I feel like we get comfortable knowing, but not actually taking the action to change what we know, especially when it's a bad thing. And a lot of people are intuitively questioning. But what do questions do if you can't take action on the questions? So, yeah, I did that. I'm looking at my notes real quick. But it feels like you can think about something but never really face it. And that's how I felt with this whole dopamine pleasure loop, pretty to sum it up. So, I read an article that introduced how you can be self-reflective, but that doesn't entirely mean that you can create the change. You have to do that yourself. You have to take action. You have to take the next step and follow through with what you're thinking. And, it seems like the obvious, but that kind of encouraged me to be like, okay, I can make a change to what I'm doing. Because I was really struggling with, how do I go against nature? How do I change something how do I change that, if that makes sense? Like, how do I go against it, pretty much? But being able to see the self-reflection and then hop onto the self-change aspect kind of explores that realm of taking action, building discipline against your thoughts, and just improving yourself morally, I guess. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to say. I Building off of this, I want to start journaling habits, like keeping a habit tracker, but with goals and things I want to set out for myself, because I feel very lost in my path, and I think that's going to help me get back on. And that is me taking self-change or self-action. And I always think about it, and I always say, or I don't even say, I just think, oh, I want to make a change, I want to do this, I want to do that, but I never entirely do it. Like with these YouTube videos, I always think, and I have these docs of a Google Doc of all these notes and ideas that I want to do, And here I am making action and taking action with this video. But I think it's an interesting subject on how we can think so clearly about what we know is bad, but then that be done and not make the change, not take the action to change that. And I think we're getting comfortable with just being able to know and not actually doing it or taking the next step. But yeah, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and go look at my other videos. I appreciate it, and I hope you have a lovely day.